Hey Brewers fans, we know it can get real cold outside. So let's warm you up with the latest on the crew. It's time for Hot Stove Weekly on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. The 2026 championship season cannot get here quick enough. The crew came up short in the 25 season, and it's time to turn the page and look towards the future. Get the latest on free agent signings, trades, the front office, and the fans. It's Hot Stove Weekly with Tommy Wortz. Here's the franchise Tim Allen.
What is going on, Brewers fans? Welcome in. It's another edition of Hot Stove Weekly here with Tommy Wortz. My name is Tim Allen. Tommy, I've noticed here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network that it's now Timmy and Tommy.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah. I think I missed you, Tim. I think I missed you. Like everyone, like this last week, I feel like I've been called Tim more times in my life than I ever have been. Yeah, I'm excited to get back to it. But Timmy and Tommy, do you go by Timmy very often, though?
I think a lot of people do call me that, yeah.
I actually don't go by Tommy anywhere other than the radio, pretty much.
And your parents is your Tom?
Thomas. Full name.
Full name,
Thomas. Always. Yeah. So if you get angry at me, you can use my full name, I guess. But
Thomas James Wortz.
Carl.
What are you doing?
Carl with a K.
Carl.
Yeah, with a K.
Not to be confused with former Brewer lefty Scott Carl.
No, different name.
We've got a big show lined up for you tonight. We're going to be talking Freddie Peralta. That seems to be the lightning rod here as of late for the Brewers. Next hour, though, stick around because we're talking a few baseball things, and that would be pitching and hitting. We'll get to fielding maybe next week, but pitching and hitting, here to talk about that in the next hour is pitching coach extraordinaire Chris Hook. And then lead hitting coach now got elevated to lead hitting coach Eric Theisen is going to join us. So interesting conversations with those guys. We will also take your calls and text at some point here on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line at 414-677-1250. So listen, the Freddie Peralta thing, I think a lot of Brewer fans, Tommy, are wondering, is he going to go the way of Corbin Burns, or is he going to go the way of, let's say, Willie Adames?
Okay. Yeah. You're wondering if they're going to get the comp pick for him, or if they're going to trade him before and get as much as they can.
Or if you kind of meet in the middle and then they trade him in July.
So Hader now.
Now, potentially a Josh Hader. Now, what's interesting is I was tuning into 9 to Noon with John Kuhn and Rami today. Really super interesting conversation about Freddie being potentially traded to the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
And Rami had said, if you do that, it does lessen your chances to beat the Dodgers because you've just made them better. I think it's a good point.
Yeah, I believe he used the word malpractice.
Malpractice, yeah. If you were to trade Freddie Peralta to the Dodgers. I thought it was a fascinating conversation. And I found myself, much like all of us do when we listen to sports talk, wanting to call in and give my 2 cents worth. I did. That's rare for us in the industry to want to grab our phone and participate because we got our own thing going here on Hot Stove Weekly tonight. But I was tempted to do that, or at least text Rami and say, dude, you kind of got a point. Now, those that know Rami, you know where his allegiance is. And so I didn't think it was fair that someone said, well, that's coming from a Cub fan perspective. It had nothing to do with the Cubs. So I'll protect Rami on that point. But I get his point. You are within a window of pretty high success right now. And that's clearly the team to beat. You saw what happened in the NLCS. I have some disturbing numbers on that NLCS too, by the way. Maybe coming up a little bit later on in our news and notes segment. But I see where he's coming from. It would make the Dodgers a better baseball team. Now Absolutely. He did disclaim it with the fact that if it were for MLB ready prospects. So if you did it for prospects that would not help the Brewers right now, that's where he said the malpractice came in.
Yes, I still think that I have some update on the Dodgers situation. So before I jump too far ahead, do you have anything more from the Rami conversation you want to bring up? Yeah, keep going with that, because I have my thoughts compared to what I might be anti-Rami in this conversation.
Okay.
Even Tim. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I got you. And then Brandon Snide.
Love the guy.
Me too. He said, and I get his point also. This is simply how the Brewers have to function to stay competitive and to do what they're doing right now. They have to do it this way. And that was his stance, that there's no other way to do it. You just have to do, whether it's to the Dodgers or to the Angels, it wouldn't matter, because this is just a functioning operation of a market size with resources with what the Brewers have here. And so I completely understand that, but I'm not sure that I would help the direct competitor.
Right. And I think that that's the first thing that you have to note with the situation is this is the team that knocked you out of the postseason that, in theory, Tim, you're supposed to be trying to get better than every year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you are trying to add assets or formulate some team that would put you over the hump against them, and sending away the only guy at the end of the year that could give you more than 5 innings to that team feels like malpractice in that way. So I can sympathize with Rami on that move. However, Tim, I don't know if there is a move for Freddie Peralta that would help the Brewers in 2026 specifically. Correct. Out there. Correct. On the table.
Yes. Yeah, so, and that's the thing. Could you make it a move? I was talking with Sparky earlier today about it. We're just, obviously we just go crazy on the phone talking Brewers baseball too. It's a lot like what we're doing right here, right now. We just do it over the phone. But I told him that if you, to your point, if you can help the Brewers this year to be a better baseball team and help you in the future, can you knock down 2 for the price of 1? For example, I said, look, why don't you target a player on the Dodgers, both on their prospect list and on their major league roster?
Right.
And I brought up Tommy Edman, and I said, why don't you take a look at your prospect list? And I'm just throwing this name out there. I'm not saying I want Luis Pena traded. Okay. But why wouldn't you go Freddie Peralta and Luis Pena for not only a prospect from the LA Dodgers, but also you're giving us Tommy Edman, or no deal. No deal to the Dodgers unless there's something there tangible for this year and in the future.
So, and then the other argument with this, Tim, is after that Kyle Tucker signing with the Dodgers, that really felt like it was a straw that broke the camel's back of Major League Baseball right now, where this is a guy who ultimately is not worth the contract that he got, Tim. They overpaid so much for Kyle Tucker on their
Tucker,
team.
Though. I do.
I think I said Tucker Kraft. Kyle Tucker. But yes, like I know he's a good baseball player, but he is not the third best baseball player in all of baseball. No, he's not better than 99% of the baseball players. Maybe 90, maybe he's better than 95%. But you absolutely overpaid to get him $60 million a year, and it's not competitive. It's just flat out not competitive, which we knew that before the Kyle Tucker deal, but it ended up just putting it over the hump. And so if the Brewers were going to contribute to the argument of they need a salary cap in baseball, a move of Freddie Peralta to the Dodgers with all of the noise of, hey, Freddie, we can't sign a guy we love who's been in our organization since he was a teenager, that we have to send him to the team that beat the crap out of us in the NLCS last year because we need to get the best return on investment we can get, because there is zero chance he will sign for a contract extension within the market that drafted him. And that would be another notch in the cap of, This is getting ridiculous. There needs to be some sort of money cap in Major League Baseball.
Oh, there certainly does. And I think the Dodgers, with these long-term deferred sort of contracts, this is just me. I don't really want to be called this conspiracy guy, but this is my guess, Tommy. I think the Dodgers smell the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
They do. They sense it, and they know they're going to be handcuffed financially to a degree. They're always going to have the money to charge more for tickets. They're in a market in which it bears that. And look, I don't have a problem with the Dodgers spending money because they make money.
Right.
That's just what you do. If you make more money, you buy a better house. That's just, I understand it from their perspective. I think the game is flawed financially. So that being said, with a potential work stoppage and a potential salary floor as well as a cap, I think the Dodgers sense that that's coming, potentially. And so they sign all these deals because, quite frankly, if there is a salary cap implemented, it's going to take years to transition into it, in which case all these players still help them win World Series.
Well, and Tim, the other thing that I want to bring up, though, is that the Dodgers kind of cracked a code that no other owner is willing to do. Because when Shohei Ohtani is going out and becoming a free agent, there is not a doubt that the brand of Shohei Ohtani is worth $1 billion in my mind. The brand of Shohei Ohtani. They now have to pay Shohei $700 million, and they deferred $680 million of it 10 years down the line, right? He's getting $2 million for the first 10 years from the team, and then it's $68 million a year. Tim,
wow,
that's a deal that any Major League Baseball team could have done. I know it's a crazy number, and I know it's outlandish to think that anyone is worth $700 million, but you're telling me no matter where Shohei Ohtani goes, he will not generate $1 billion worth of income and revenue for his contract over the next 10 years. That's an easy money. Like, he would have done that no matter where. Now, it doesn't make it ethical to the cap that they kind of have in place with tax and whatever it is, but still, like, the Dodgers are willing to take that chance. And there's reports now that they've already made the money to pay him in the future.
Which is crazy.
Right. Like, any team could have done it if they took the chance. The Dodgers just have the most financial flexibility and capability.
It's almost like they're snubbing their nose at baseball. I mean, you heard Dave Roberts say it. It's trying to ruin baseball. Yeah, many a truth is said in jest, man. You want to trade Freddie Peralta to the Dodgers? Would you trade Freddie Peralta to the Dodgers? Check this out. You think this is going to get any better in the NLCS? Bryce Terang in the NLCS, 1 for 15. Sal Frelick went 1 for 14. William Contreras, 2 for 14. Yelich, 1 for 14. Churio, 3 for 15. Durbin, look at this, 4 for 13. Andrew Vaughn, 0 for 12. You want to add to that?
No, I mean, I get why.
I'm with Rami on this. And look, Rami and I have had some battle royales over the years on the air, but I am totally with Rami. I'll trade him if that's what we need to do. If that's what the Brewers organization has decided and deemed it necessary to function and to have success, but there's no way he's going to any team in the National League.
Really?
Well, any team that has a chance, a playoff type team. He's not going to the Phillies. He's not going to the Braves. He's not going to the Dodgers. He's not going to the Giants. He's not going to the Cubs. You can trade him to the Nationals because he gets 1 year, and I don't think the Nationals are going to pony up that kind of money to retain him after this year. I would prefer, just the bottom line here for me, Tommy, I would prefer they just keep Freddie Peralta and see what happens in July.
Well, and that's the Willy Adames approach, right? I don't know if I'm on board with a let's see what happens in July situation, because then I feel like they're going to be too eager no matter what, and they're going to have these high expectations. The Josh Hader trade crumbled that team, Tim.
It
did. the whole locker room shut down. They were in first place, and they ended up not making the postseason. Now, if they were in a Colorado Rockies last year situation, sure, let's see what you can get for Freddie Peralta. But if they're going to make the move, they should do it earlier rather than later. And I am okay with them going out and getting the comp pick for next year if they're going to just let him ride out this contract, because I do believe as well that this year, especially with all the uncertainty that's going to come with Major League Baseball after this season, go for it, right? Go out, sign Suarez to a deal that you had Yasmani Grandal on in 2019. See what happens.
Or Hoskins, which you had Hoskins for the last 2 years.
100%. Go out, spend a little bit of money, and see if you can get someone with some pop on there. But I will say that if there are a couple other suitors out there for Freddie Peralta, it sounds like they're asking for 2 top 5 prospects in an organization. And I know a lot of people can't stand prospect talk. It does alienate some baseball audiences. But like, if they can set themselves up that they will have control of a lot of these players that are going to be productive in the future for this team after the salary cap situation, the Brewers could be in line for dynasty level if it works in their favor.
And you wonder over the years, with the last run of a decade, Brewers perennial playoff team, a bunch of division titles, you wonder at some point when the gear is shifted from that to, no, this is cool, but it's just at the end of the day, it's not good enough. And I'm not saying that's bad or a failure or anything. I'm just saying, when does it? I'm not even saying that transition is right now. It could be after next year. Could be after, Tommy, 2 more division titles.
Yeah,
where breaking through hasn't happened. So now it's time to just adjust our philosophy a little bit. And within that adjustment, it means you probably send outgoing prospects instead of always incoming prospects to continue this cycle.
Yeah.
It really is the chicken or the egg kind of conversation. Do you want to continue this cycle of achieving the success here? And I'm not on video tonight, and I'm holding my hand up. But when you could say, hey, instead of the outgoing Freddie Peraltas, how about the outgoing Luis Peñas or Cooper Pratts for the incoming that guy?
Yeah,
I don't know if the time is now, but I'm just saying, if this continues, wouldn't you want to try it a different way?
I understand completely, Tim. I totally get why people think that. I have a couple of updates here just around the league on some Freddie Peralta talk, and I wanted to just start with this one. Robert Murray, covers the MLB national media guy, when asked if he expects Freddie Peralta to be traded, his words were absolutely. So if whatever the national media buzz is surrounding him. Now, the Dodgers situation, this might be good news for you, Tim. Asked today by Doug McCain, covering the Dodgers out in Los Angeles. Andrew Friedman is the president of baseball operations. They introduced Kyle Tucker today. I don't know if you heard that at all, but he had his introductory press conference. And when asked if still in the market for starting pitching this offseason, he said they are not. The Dodgers are not in the market for starting pitching. Maybe that is a leverage tactic for Freddie Peralta. Maybe it's something to be taken seriously. However, there was news today also that came out with the New York Mets, and you didn't name that team when you were talking about you can't trade them to a contender in anywhere.
That would be another one.
But the Mets, there's an offer out there for the Mets, it sounds like. And the Brewers are asking for Brandon Sprout and Jet Williams, 2 top 5 prospects. Jet is kind of a utility infield, outfield guy. He's their number 3 prospect. And Sprout is a starting pitcher, is their number 5 prospect right now. They wanted to go after Jonah Tong, who was their number 2 guy, and the Mets shut it down. They weren't going for it. It sounds like the Brewers want to get some pitching in return for Freddie Peralta. What is your reaction just hearing that?
I look at it as a similar situation for Burns in terms of DL Hall.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be the guy there. Talk all you want about Joey Ortiz, but DL Hall was just lights out of the bullpen in the playoffs, I might add, the year prior to acquiring him. And he just has battled through injuries, and maybe he's a guy, if you can get healthy, maybe he's the pitching version of Garrett Mitchell. Everything is there for him. Table is set to have a successful and powerful career, but you just can't stay healthy. I would love to have Freddie and Woody anchor this rotation.
Yeah.
That, are you really going to get something that pins the needles for Peralta? Are you? Because you didn't with Burns at the end of the day yet. I will say yet, because you got to sit on trades sometimes for years for those things to pan out and to have the gavel drop on success or no. But do you trust Woody and his health and his arm and his shoulder? That's a reason why I would want to retain Freddie Peralta and see what happens in July. And you're right, Tommy. I think we all know what's going to happen in July. They'll be contending, and we can't get rid of him now because it's a pennant race. Yeah, all right. We'll take a break, come back. If you guys want to join the conversation, Nicolay Law talking text line at 414-677-1250. That's 414-677-1250. It's Hot Stove Weekly. There's Tommy Wortz, Tim Allen here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
What does this do for Jason Dominguez? What does this do for Spencer Jones? What does this do for some of those Yankee hype prospects that we've been hearing about for so long? Yeah, I guess we can ask Derek when he comes on.
Trade one of them for Freddie Peralta.
Okay, which one?
Oof.
Which one goes?
Yeah.
Which one goes, or which one would we trade?
Either or. You choose. You tell me which one should go, which one is going to go.
If I'm the Brewers, I'd take Spencer Jones. I think you've seen what Jason Dominguez can do, has done, whatever. And can you afford to have him hit right-handed? Or does he become a platoon? Obviously, you don't know what Spencer Jones is going to do, but you're going to say, I get it. He strikes out a third of the time in the minor leagues. We're putting him in the big leagues. He's going to steal 20-plus bases for us. He's going to play the outfield really well. I mean, he's a center fielder. I'm not saying he's going to play center field there, but then you're going to have Churio, him in the outfield. And to me, it's got to be Spencer Jones and somebody. Spencer Jones and another piece. And I don't think the Brewers will come off somebody that's not a big league pitcher. Like it has to be a big league pitcher because they're getting rid of Freddie. It would be Spencer and a big league pitcher who's ready to go.
Foul territories, Braun, Kratz, and company talking about potentially Freddie Peralta and what they would get for him. I would love to be on those phone calls with Matt Arnold. It's just, what are people talking about? That's one of the things I'm most fascinated about, and I've asked those guys about that. Hey, look, is this a conversation that's quite candid? Hey, what do you think about this? Much like your fantasy football trades, I would think it is. Why wouldn't it be? And they all respond to, yeah, well, there's conversations. We have to have a conversation. Because years ago, Tommy, I thought it was, you had to, there's a template online and you had to submit any proposal and all this. It's really not like that. It's just a candid conversation, much like we're doing right now. Hot Stove Weekly, Tommy Wortz, Tim Allen, and we're talking some Brewers baseball, some Ryan Braun news. That's not very good for Ryan Braun coming up in just a bit. Also, a few news and notes about this is a little dated. This was about a year ago, but a potential Brewers entertainment district out near American Fan Field. We'll talk about that coming up in a bit, but we'll continue with this Freddie Peralta conversation here for a second. I will say this, ESPN ranked the top players most likely to be traded. Now, this is weeks old, but they had Skubal at the top as most likely. Ooh, I don't know about that. Ketel Marte, I can understand that. And third was Freddie Peralta. They said, though many expected the trade of Freddie Peralta shortly after, Brandon Woodruff accepted the qualifying offer. So some were saying, Tommy, that once Woody accepted the qualifier, that then it was open game and Peralta would be moved.
Yeah. And I don't understand that, Tim. I don't know how it feels very nationally driven on this move. And just because, how do they not understand what a bargain it is that they would have Freddie Peralta and Brandon Woodruff for $30 million on a season?
Right.
I mean, really, it would be like you get two guys who are potential front of the rotation aces. Yep. And if you average it out to it's $15 million a year for both of them, I mean, Skubal is going to get $40 million a year all day when he goes and gets on, maybe 50, maybe 60 with the new contracts that are coming out. Like, this is a complete bargain for the Brewers if they have Freddie and Woody on the books for $30 million in a season.
Yeah, it's really tough. It goes on. The Brewers to this point are not approaching the winter focused on trading their top starter unless they get blown away by an offer. They won't hesitate. But for now, the plan is to enter the season with Peralta, Woodruff, Mizorowski, Quinn Priester, among others. Peralta, heading into the last season of his contract, making just $8 million a year, is getting strong interest. And that was from ESPN in terms of most likely to be traded. I just don't want him traded. You need right now. There's a little volatility and we all love Jacob Mizorowski. A little volatility there, don't you think? Quinn Priester, can he back up what he did? We'll talk to Brewers pitching coach Chris Hook in a little while about him. And then there's the Chad Patricks and Logan Hendersons and these types of guys. I don't know. I would want some certainty in there. And that's Peralta. You won 97 games this past season. Freddie Peralta was a huge part of that. Now, do we have some issues occasionally with first inning Freddie? Pitch count just raised to the ceiling, and then he settles in and ends up with 5 1/3 or 5 flat. Okay, fine. He's not going to be CC Sabathia. The game has changed. Those CC numbers, by the way, he is going to be entered onto the Wall of Honor this season.
Saw that.
I was looking at his numbers, Tommy.
They're gross. I mean, if you could...
162 earned run average, 17 starts in a Brewers uniform, 162. He had 7 of those 17 starts, complete games. 7 of 17 complete games. 3 of those 7 shutouts.
Yeah, and a near no-hitter. Don't forget that, too.
Well, it is a no-hitter. Should have been a no-hitter.
Yes. I mean, we were talking about it earlier today as well with the Wall of Honor. Now going to add on CC Sabathia and Dave Parker.
Mm-hmm.
That CC run, when you talk about it, you know, some people, the Dave Parker being on the Brewers Wall of Honor, I know this is all happening posthumously now. That might play a role in it and how important it was for him to get into the Hall of Fame during this too. But even when you say the name CC Sabathia, Tim, I just you cannot forget what he did for Milwaukee. You know, he has way more time as a Yankee and he has more time as a Cleveland Indian at the time. But I still almost think that people immediately think of the Brewers when you mention the name CC Sabathia because of how impactful and dominant he was when he was here.
Now, how old were you in 08?
I was 8. And I was very much aware of CC Sabathia kicking ass every single time he went out there.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. You were very, very nice. And he is, and the reason is because it was the icebreaker of the 26-year playoff drought. And that really is, man, it was amazing. That is, I had to be, for those of age, it had to be one of your favorite times of Brewers baseball. I've got a lot of other favorites, obviously, but man, that was a run. So Freddie's not going to be that guy, but what Freddie's going to do for this team is what he's been doing the last few years. And that's simply giving you some certainty. You don't have to worry over the course of, his 30 starts. And he's been relatively healthy. Tommy, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
This isn't a guy that's fought through injuries, and once you get him back up, well, he's going to have to take a little breather here and go on the IL. And that's not the case here. Every 5 days or 6, depending, he grabs the baseball and gives you certainty. I like that. I'm with holding on to Freddie Peralta, letting a really good farm system blossom underneath you. And you always wonder. I've always wondered why the Brewers why they don't consistently hype up their minor league players. They've started it recently. That's part of the deal. You can look at numbers all day long, but when the Yankees and Dodgers are always shipping out prospects, where are they getting these guys? What they do is they hype them up. Yeah, some of these guys, the numbers are backed up in the minor leagues. I get it. You can go a lot on that. But they hype up their minor leaguers so much. That's how they land these guys.
Sure. That's
how they land the Freddie Peraltas of the world. The Brewers have started to hype up their minor league system, as you know, Tommy. The Mades and Peñas and Caros and Pratts and not a lot of talk about Andrew Fisher, but get ready because that's a powder keg of a player.
Right. And
that dude's good.
That's a guy also that I think he's a little more major league ready than most of these other guys, right? If everything goes well, I mean, we could see him in September. Like if he's tearing it up and they really need something that is happening at third base, they need some pop. Yeah, he could be an extra call-up guy that you could have around there. I would anticipate that his return or his arrival, rather, would be in 2027. But if he has a Made level projection this year, trajectory this season, absolutely, that's a guy that they could. And there's who's playing third base? Caleb Durbin. They might have to move him. What if Joey Ortiz becomes, doesn't springboard off another year? Like, they're going to have to move that infield around, and they're not being very active in any of the open free agency market. Like, they are going to plan on getting one of these guys up, and it's already going to be Caro on opening day. I'm just saying, Tim, that this team, I love what you're saying about they got to hype these prospects up, go all in on some sort of move. But it's very risky for this market to do. If the prospects are more for sure than spending all this money on one person, it's a big risk for the team to take.
Look how the trade turned out of Yoferi Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And at that time, there were a lot of Brewer fans, and we talked to them. They did not like that trade. Quinn Priester had not shown much of anything prior to this year. Maybe a little bit here and there, but there wasn't a lot of hype around him. And then all of a sudden they make that move, and we freak out. And oh my goodness, how could you move Yoferi Rodriguez? And then look what Quinn Priester does, and what he's going to do in a Brewers uniform moving forward.
And I also think, though, Tim, that I just don't necessarily believe they need to get pitching in return for Freddie Peralta. If they're going to move on from this guy, their major league pitching is stacked. I mean, they have 7 starters already on this team when you include Gasser and Hall, and Ashby was a guy they wanted to be a starter at the back end when they gave him the extension. Like, they have so many guys. Chad Patrick at the back end of it too.
Carlos Rodriguez.
Yeah. However far you want to go into your bag, they have at least 7-8 guys that could be back end, at least major league players. And then you want to see them progress into front of the rotation type guys. So I'm not sold on they need to get pitching back in return for Freddie Peralta, because right now their outfield farm is kind of weak compared to their infield farm. And their major league infield is pretty weak compared to their major league outfield. So I would love it to get a mix of something that could help vice versa, either one of those during this. I'm not sold on they have to get pitching back in return for Freddie Peralta either, if it was going to be moved on. But if you ask me today what I would do, I would ride it out with Freddie Peralta.
Yep, me too.
I would ride it out. I want to see what this team can do. You have to try before there's so much you don't know that's going to happen after this season. Why not go all in this year?
When you're dealing with prospects, let's keep in mind one Joey Wiemer, who made my news and notes here. He's on the move again. He was traded from the Marlins to the Giants for what? Cash.
Oh,
that was it. I mean, and how many of us watch the freshmen and we see Sal and Bryce and Wiemer, and oh my goodness, look at these 3 guys. They all don't work out. Let's keep that in mind. You want to trade Freddie for a bunch of prospects, okay, fine, but know this, that they show a potential of not working out. Now, I'm going to point to the Burns deal, but that jury's still out a little bit. I think there's still a little bat in Joey Ortiz that can come out. I do, because he showed that in 24, that he can swing a better bat than he did last year.
Yeah, wizard in the field too,
and a whiz in the field. I mean, I'm hoping this, Tommy, that Pat Murphy very soon comes out and says, I expect a quantum leap out of Joey Ortiz.
Quantum leap. Gosh, quantum leaps were awesome last year. I could use more quantum leaps.
I mean, look at Bryce Terang.
Yeah.
And how did he know this? How did he know that?
That's why he's coaching the team, right? And we're talking about it.
Man, yeah, that's why he's getting paid. Hey, I mentioned about Ryan Braun. So he was eligible for the Hall of Fame. and things didn't go exactly according to plan.
No, they did not.
For Brawny. We'll talk about that after the break. Eric Theisen, the Brewers' lead hitting coach, will join us at the top of the hour here. And then we will also get to pitching coach extraordinaire Chris Hook in the next hour as well. You're listening to Hot Stove Weekly. Tim Allen, Tommy Wortz here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Hot Stove Weekly, hour number 2 starts in just a couple of minutes here with lead hitting coach Eric Theisen. And then at the bottom of the hour at 6:30, we will talk with pitching coach Chris Hook. So stick around. Man, I miss Brewers baseball right now. It's starting to make my mind wander a little bit. And I know we're trapped in this Arctic zone here of January. But I mean, I look at the winter months, the intense winter months of December, Jan, and Feb as a 90-day journey, and we're on the back half of that. So we're through 45 days of those 90, and then we're creeping closer. Just a reminder, pitchers and catchers report on February 12th, position players on the 17th, spring training tickets on sale now. Only one night game on the slate, Cactus League slate. I love the night games out in Arizona, Tommy. I do, not only being there, but just here at home. I just love a night game.
Yeah.
In February or March, early March.
I can totally get that point. But man, Tim, my favorite days during the year are those Sunday baseball games. Like, just you wake up and you're so close to baseball time, and you get to do that every day in Arizona
all the
too.
Time, yes. Yep. All right, I mentioned Ryan Braun here real quick before the break. On the Hall of Fame ballot, but won't stay there. He did not receive the requisite 5% of the vote. He got just 3.5%, just 15 votes out of 425. Other Brewer connections, by the way, Gio Gonzalez got no votes, so he won't remain for next year. K-Rod, however, 11.8%. That will carry over to next year. To get into the Hall of Fame, you need 75% of the vote. Players can remain on the ballot as long as they get 5%. In theory, Braun could be added with the ERA committee, which considers some players in 2028. In terms of his numbers, in Brewers history, they're great, Tommy. But in terms of Hall of Fame numbers, probably not for the Brewers. All-time home run leader. Top 3 in offensive categories of RBIs, slugging, runs, doubles, triples, total bases, as well as stolen bases. Rookie of the Year, MVP. However, the issues connected to the PEDs, that's the tough one. What do you think? Ryan Braun? He made good after the suspension, but what a mark on his career.
I didn't think that he was going to be elected by any means, even after 10 years, but I kind of expected him to stay on the ballot. I think one more year, maybe.
To get 5%.
Yeah,
right.
I thought maybe he could get the 5%. However, I understand some of the reasons why he didn't, right? The PEDs being number 1 on that list. I do think, though, Tim, that these two guys that got in showed why they got in, right? Beltran and Andrew Jones, both having much more storied careers. Ryan Braun, I think his numbers should be retired in Milwaukee. I don't necessarily believe he should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Another fun news and note from my end, though, here, just to relate back to this, Andrew Jones, his first year, Tim, 7.8% of the vote. It is the lowest vote total to ever be elected to the Hall of Fame eventually at some point.
On his first vote, right.
Right. So on his first vote, he got only 7.8%. No one has ever gotten lower than that and then eventually been elected to the Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, maybe there's a puncher's chance with the ERA committee.
We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if his numbers are that good.
No.
Like,
I mean, they were great here. I mean, I remember in Arizona that year, in 2007, and he was just lighting up Maryvale at that time, Maryvale Baseball Park, and didn't make the club. And I know Sparky and I we were just saying, are you kidding? Really? And then he had 26 errors that year, later on that year, once he got called up. And the infield just was not going to work for Ryan Braun in the big leagues. But that's the tough part. And I know there's been some twists and turns in the saga of Ryan Braun, but you really don't know how long he was using them. You didn't know he was, though.
Right. His counting stats don't get there either. Baseball's all about longevity and consistency, and quite frankly, he fell off a cliff a little bit at the end of his career too, Tim.
Yeah, for his standards,
For
yes.
his standards, for Hall of Fame standards.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, I just thought I'd throw that in there as a news and note. And also, we'll squeeze in this what they call Brewers Bash. This is, again, a little dated, a survey that the organization did about a year ago, and I hope it comes to fruition. Little entertainment district in the plaza behind center field by the bridge there. Could you imagine some Deer District type places out there?
Let's do it.
That would be so sweet.
I'm in.
All right. Take a break. Lead hitting coach Eric Theisen will join us. Chris Hook in about a half hour. There's Tommy Wortz, Tim Allen. It is Hot Stove Weekly, talking some Brewers baseball here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Hey Brewers fans, we know it can get real cold outside. So let's warm you up with the latest on the crew. It's time for Hot Stove Weekly on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. The 2026 championship season cannot get here quick enough. The crew came up short in the 25 season, and it's time to turn the page and look towards the future. Get the latest on free agent signings, trades, the front office, and the fans. It's Hot Stove Weekly with Tommy Wortz. Here's the franchise Tim Allen.
Oh, talking Brewers baseball in the middle of January. Look outside, and that's the definition of where we're at here. Hot Stove Weekly, it's hour number 2. My name is Tim Allen. There is Tommy Wortz, and just imagine, if you would, a little theater of the mind. It's Friday night at American Family Field. It's late June. The roof is open, and all the play-by-play guys are saying it's 77 degrees at first pitch.
Couldn't
and it's
imagine.
the Brewers and the Reds. Oh, man. Beer in your hand or in the cup holder in front of you, and a brat with kraut and mustard. It's beautiful, Tommy.
Yeah, I would take 70 extra degrees today. I would do it. I really would. No problem. No questions asked.
Let's hit the fan guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. And welcome in lead hitting coach Eric Theisen. Eric, how are you, man? Thanks for the time.
All good here, Tim. Tommy, thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah, you got it. So congrats on the promotion here, lead hitting coach. I know you guys work in a group to get the job done, but what do you do here for the winter? Where you at? You trapped in a wintry nightmare like us?
Oh, sir, I am. I'm down in Arizona, so not to rub it in, but the 70s you were just talking about, that's where we're sitting. I'm originally from Michigan, though, so I know the pain.
Okay, you get it. All right, so there were some moves on the coaching staff here, and a lot of people over the years, Eric, I've been doing post-game show for 21 years now, and just grew up a huge Brewers fan and love the team. Anybody affiliated with it, anybody in a Brewers uniform. So one of the questions that has come up so many times over the years is, what exactly does a hitting coach do? Because a lot of times you look at football, look at the DCs and OCs that are getting rocked, and hitting coaches have been known to, have some successes and failures. But that's the question I've asked, guys from Butch Weiniger to Darnell Coles and a lot of these former Brewer hitting coaches. What do you do on a regular basis?
Yeah, I think the question is what don't we do? There's a reason that the hitting staffs in the major leagues have continued to grow and add more and more people to the mix. That gives you more perspective, more ideas, more hands on deck. Sometimes we call it hitting therapy. Really, I think the best way to sum it up is the guys that we have, they're the best of the best, and they know themselves better than anyone. And our jobs are just to try and make sure that they are in a place every day to be the best version of themselves every day, whether that's at the plate or, mentally, emotionally. That's our job, is to make sure that they're able to be the best version of themselves every day, and really try and grab the consistency that having a good season through and through requires.
Eric, I want to ask just how you get into the hitting coaching game before we dive into what you're doing with the Brewers a little bit now. You play a little college ball, you try to make a run in pro ball. Who's some people that gave you some advice to get into coaching? How much did you want to just get into coaching eventually with your baseball career? And then give us a little bit of maybe your path to how you ended up to lead hitting coach of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Right. Well, I grew up in a dugout. I was getting my diaper changed in a dugout. My dad was a college coach. So it's really the only thing I've ever known, really the only job I've ever had, whether it was player or a coach. Playing career ended, and it was a natural transition. Started in college ball, ended up being able to work with my dad. My dad and I ran the college program, Division II in Michigan for 8 years, and Brewers snagged me in 21. A-ball hitting coach in 21 and assistant hitting coordinator for the next 3 years. And then obviously Nashville was a stop before joining Milwaukee in last season and obviously now. So I've had such great mentors and guidance throughout my entire life in general, but coaching career, no doubt, from college ball, from my dad, from college ball, minor league ball, and then as an assistant coordinator all the way to this day. There's tons of people in the org and tons of people in my life that I lean on regularly for a balanced perspective and guidance.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're a baseball rat. That's for sure. There's no doubt. Brewers lead hitting coach Eric Theisen joining us here on Hot Stove Weekly. So, Eric, explain to some Brewer fans what those conversations are like. For example, I mean, a couple of years ago, and again, I love the Brewers, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I get frustrated as a fan. And I will say, I mentioned this to Pat Murphy, and he did not like it. He gave me a lot of grief about it. We ought to change Christian Yelich's number to 4-3 because it's a rollover every time he gets up there. So when you notice certain hitters getting too much on their front foot, rolling over on things, and it's just a 4-3 out every a Sal Frelick or a Christian Yelich, what is that conversation sort of like? Do you just and it's not like they don't know they're doing it because obviously they're experiencing it, but how does that conversation work?
No doubt. That's something that eats us all up, right? And nobody more than the player himself. That conversation it's endless. It's every day. There's really not a day that goes by that these guys don't come back and feel like there's something that they can improve on. But I think that conversation really just starts with digging into what the components of that outcome are. Like, is it happening because we're out front? Is it happening because we're late? Is it happening on fastballs? Is it happening on off speed? Is it maybe the last week or two, it's been all the above? What's causing this, right? Is it something that us as hitters are doing, or is it something maybe in the environment, something contextually that's changing something? Is it the game state, the base runner state, how they're being attacked, more in zone or more out of zone? There's just so many layers to it. And so without making it too complicated, we just have to start with what are the pieces that are causing us to miss? And then we can go to, all right, are they present in our practice? And if those pieces aren't present in the practice, then now we have an avenue to really attack head on what's giving us an issue.
Well, and Eric, you say the line there, not make it too complicated. How can you say that with the growth of analytics in this game? It feels like that there's a new one every day that people are learning. And I don't know if you started and the analytic game was just beginning, but speak of that, like, and how much it's just grown to be a part of your daily life and learning about, launch angle and trying to correct exit velocities and whatever else that you might use on a daily basis of when you first got into baseball and now how it's evolved into your coaching career and how crucial it really is to your job.
Yeah, there's certainly no end to the amount of information that's available to us. And part of being successful is being able to compartmentalize that and to be able to really understand it, but not make it the end all be all. The thing is everything that's being measured, nothing new is happening, right? The game has been able to put numbers and start to measure things that players, coaches, scouts have been talking about forever. So there's no new factors involved here other than that we can actually measure some of these things. And really the space for that is in diagnosing, is in the diagnostics. It's in what are the pieces to what's happening. It doesn't necessarily need to all be put into the plan moving forward and what to do about it. And so that's where I think the separation is important.
I would also add, Eric, that sometimes a slump's just a slump, and there's really not, you got to hit your way out of a slump is what you do. And if you overthink it, maybe it makes things worse, or maybe you just need to take a breather. No BP today. Take a break. We're going to bring you in off the bench a little bit later in the game. You can just sit and watch, and I think that has been known to work as well. So, Eric, Murph said about Bryce Terang, he's going to take a quantum leap offensively, and boy, did he ever. It was just dynamite. I think the ball was getting a little bit deeper in the zone for him. He was looking oppo the other way more times than not. I loved it, and we all loved it. We're going to put the crystal ball in front of you, and you've been around these guys for a few years. Who might, and we're not going to hold you to this, but who might have a little bit of that advancement to where we say, ooh, yeah, he took a step, whether it's, Ortiz or Durbin or whoever it might be. Anybody come to mind?
Yeah, I truthfully feel like every one of these guys has the ability to take a step.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, all of them.
About specific guys, yeah, no doubt. And don't we all want that, right?
Absolutely.
But Ortiz comes to mind, no doubt. I think the underlying components of his year last year weren't they were better than what the year ended up for him on the surface. Contreras obviously is a guy who struggled through some injury last year and still had a great year, but we know there's more in there. Churio, as he continues to mature and get older and have some more reps and plate appearances under his belt and learn how to navigate the league. Terang, I think, even still has some more in there in terms of rounding everything out and becoming a complete hitter. I think we really did see the real Vaughn last year, and I think there's more in there as well as he continues to get comfortable. Durbin is very much, in my opinion, an everyday offensive third baseman, and he still has some maturity and some familiarity to lean on coming back again. And so it's really it's an exciting lineup, especially with as many of them that are returning as we have.
Brewers lead hitting coach Eric Theisen joining us here, Hot Stove Weekly. Tommy Wortz, Tim Allen along too. Eric, I wanted to ask you, looking back at last season, this Brewers baseball team had an identity, right? And it was about the approach as opposed to the result, right? Tough at-bats, get the ball in play, and then let's make some action happen on the base paths when they do that. Well, ultimately, it led to not a whole lot of balls going over the wall, right? And I want to know if it's something that last year you were harping on, that just keep doing what's working, or if it was something that it was a constant battle to try to find something, to find a home run swing. We saw it with Terang in the second half of the year, and Andrew Vaughn when he came over from Chicago. Like, what was going into the approach last season when you were trying to get the results on the field, and ultimately it led to 97 wins and an NLCS berth?
Yeah, look, you hit it on the head. We control the zone with the best of them, and honestly, we score runs with the best of them.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason. That's the purpose of a home run. That's the purpose of 3 base hits and a walk. That's the purpose of offense, is to score runs. And we were able to do that. And that's part of 162, hopefully more game season that you have, is being able to find all the different ways to score runs. We do have some guys with some pop, and we do have the ability to put the ball over the fence, but realistically, those are going to happen on mistakes. And so we want to be ready and on time to impact the mistakes that we're given. And when we're not given those, we still, like you said, we want to make it as hard as possible on the guy on the mound to get us out and to keep us off the bases, because when we do continue to keep the line moving, get guys on the bases, and put pressure on the defense, we've proven that we've been able to score runs in multiple different ways. And so, that's the name of the game, is scoring runs and outscoring your opponent. And we just want to make sure that we can impact the mistakes that we're given and hit them hard harder and more often.
And just to follow up on that then, Eric, how much of that is it you look at the roster before the season and you determine a plan of what would be successful down the line versus, all right, we got to change something because all of a sudden come the end of May, you guys really figure it out at the plate and you guys are as hot as a pistol. Like, was this something that was always the plan, or is it constantly adapting with the personnel on the roster?
Yeah, it's, you got to adapt, and the plan is to be the best version of ourselves as an entire team, as an entire offense, as we can, and each of these individual guys, regardless of what that means. But there's adjustments that need to happen day to day, week to week, and throughout the entire season. That's the game, right? That's life, and that's, if you know your strengths and you know who you are. You spoke to identity. We know who we are. We know our identity. We can lean on those while also, lean on those in the short term while also think about and talk about and work on how we can improve this and score even more runs in the long term.
Eric, I'm a Cub hater, so I'll just admit that right out of the chute. And I know years ago, a lot of infield singles would just incense me. I would go, they're the most lucky guys in the world. Well, now that the Brewers lead the league the last few years in infield singles, oh, that's the way to play baseball. I love that. So I love the approach of getting it in play instead of acquiescing to somebody's made up thing that says you must hit home runs to win in baseball. And I never agreed with that. To your point, Eric, keep the ball in play, keep the line moving. I love it. So let's find out a little bit about you. You grew up in Michigan, and so what era? So I didn't even look up how old you were to prep for this. How old are you?
I'm 41, born in 85.
Okay, so what was your era? You grew up. Take us back to the 10-year-old baseball card holding Eric Theisen. Who was your team? Who were your guys?
I grew up a Tigers fan. I grew up a Siena Heights University fan. My dad was the head coach there for a long time, and I grew up going to the old Tiger Stadium and watching Alan Trammell and Lou Whitaker and Curtis Pride and Cecil Fielder and those guys and Pudge Rodriguez. And so, that's my era right there. So,
and then you graduated to the Tony Clark, Bobby Higginson era?
For sure.
Okay. All right. And you're down in Arizona. How are you in proximity to Murph in Arizona?
Oh no, the off season. Come on. We spend enough time together during the year, you know. I'm going to stay at home.
Okay. So working with him, and I know just from, interviewing him and we text back and forth and that whole deal, he can be a tough dude to figure out. I'm telling you. And I talked to some of your players about him, and it's sometimes you don't know if he's kidding or not. It's like you have to delay for a second and then say, oh, okay, yeah, that was funny. But you didn't know if he was serious. Is he like that with you guys too?
That's pretty fair. Somebody told me one time the key to Murph is figuring out when he's serious and when he's joking. And if you can nail the 10% of time that he's serious, then you're going to be all right.
Man. All right. Well, listen, Eric, it's great talking to you. I can't wait for the season to get going. I can't wait for the Brewers to continue to score runs because you're right. That's what it's all about. And quite frankly, from the fans' perspective, and maybe you can give some insight on the way out here about the fans, it is a really exciting brand of baseball to where, yeah, it might be a little chopper on the right side, but there's no way the defense has a chance for a double play. And then before long, you get in the second baseman's mind, and he's late to first. Now you got two on, nobody out, when it could have been a double play. It's a really exciting brand of baseball. The fans love it. What do you think of the fans here in Milwaukee?
It's really cool during games. So often it seems like the fans, the stadium can feel it about to happen before before it starts to come to fruition. And you can really feel it, and you start to look around and go, all right, something's coming. And there's no doubt in my mind that that little extra bit of energy in the house makes a big, big difference.
Tommy, Eric, real quick, the 3,100 guys for the Milwaukee Brewers in the 26 championship season. I'm saying Christian Yelich. Tommy, who you got?
I mean, we need this out of Terang now. If he's taking quantum leaps every
30?
year,
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Churio, hey, can you talk a little bit about Jake Bauers before? Sparky would give me such a hard time if I didn't bring up this guy. But
president of the Jake Bauers fan club.
I just love
watching.
I was
waiting for him to come up.
Yes, yes. Eric, he every
not
time
to be overlooked.
Yes, every time in the postseason, the guy just shows up, man. And sometimes he's having his best days when the team isn't having it, but he keeps coming back on year contracts for a reason, Eric.
That guy finds a way to have his best day just about every day. I'll tell you what, he is. He's ready and just as consistent as any guy that we have in terms of, you know, how he comes in, the energy he brings, the way he goes about his business, the way he prepares for games. That guy he's a huge piece.
All right, we'll let you go, Eric Theisen, not Eric Theisen. How many times you get that, Eric? A lot?
Enough.
Okay. All right, well, enjoy the rest of your off season. You're going to be headed to the complex there, American Family Fields of Phoenix, in just a few weeks. But, Eric, we'll introduce ourselves when we see you in Arizona, okay?
Thanks, Eric.
That'd be great. Appreciate you guys.
All right, Eric Theisen, lead hitting coach for the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, that was fun.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
You had to bring up Bauers, didn't you?
Well, I mean, it was the last we were 20 minutes in. Everyone heard what they wanted to hear. Like, it was a selfish question. Of course, it was a selfish question.
But I think the 3,100 guys, you might be onto the Churio. I'm with you there. The Christian Yelich, Yelich was that last year. Well, 29. Easily William Contreras.
Ooh, easily, hey?
Easily.
I love it.
I think potentially, I don't know if you know this, I've made the proclamation that I think he's capable of a triple crown. I do.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I love what he brings, and the fact that you have a catcher that can go out there every day, like, that's awesome and a luxury to have. But I would be shocked if he went 3,100. I would be. He's a great spot in the order. And I do love his approach.
Look at his numbers with a broken finger.
Yeah, he was a beast last year, man. He was a beast. I can't deny that.
Andrew Vaughn, a 3,100 guy potentially.
I mean, this are we talking about the Brewers lineup or the Dodgers lineup here
no
now?
Kidding.
All of a sudden, right?
See, that's what I'm saying. I think let's not discount the fact that they and Theisen just alluded to it there. They can hit their home runs. Yeah. They can.
And they don't give a lot of them up. And Chris Hook will talk about it too with us.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll talk pitching, and this should be a fun conversation. Pitching coach extraordinaire and guru. He's got the pixie dust that just turns these guys into amazing pitchers. Chris Hook. He's going to join us in just a few minutes. You're listening to Hot Stove Weekly. Tim Allen, Tommy Wortz here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Welcome back. It's Hot Stove Weekly here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. My name is Tim Allen. There is Tommy Wortz. We're talking Brewers baseball, trying to warm you up here as we are geared up and ready to go for the 26th championship season and the 21st year for me in post-game coverage as the Brewers get ready to continue a really, really successful run. And that being said, part of that success has to go to pitching. Pitching wins in baseball, that's for sure. Let's welcome in pitching coach Chris Hook of the Milwaukee Brewers. Chris, thanks for the time. I understand you're in Milwaukee here, so you know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it's a little chilly, Tim. Just a little chilly.
A little bit. And Friday, it's supposed to be like minus 138,000 or something like that. So do you reside then in let me guess, Arizona?
No, I'm actually in the northern Kentucky area, not far from the stadium, about 30 minutes south of where they play baseball down in Cincinnati.
Okay, gotcha. Because I'm thinking about buying a place in Scottsdale and just sitting out in the front yard with a baseball glove and see how many players, coaches, and managers would drive by and talk baseball with me, because it is a hotbed down there in Arizona. And okay, so let me start out with this, Chris. You, not just locally here, have been associated with just this pitching guru sort of title. But nationally, I think you're really getting a lot of love. And what do you attribute that success to? I know you're going to, be grateful to the staff, and it's a collective effort. But, I mean, what has made you so successful? Because it's truly been amazing.
Well, Tim, it is a village of people that are working with guys on a daily basis. Now, we have to set a culture and a standard in how we do things. And I think we've been able to have success in doing that when we get guys from all over the place. They know that, I think, number one, they come in and they know that we've had success. And I think there's an openness and a willingness to do some things that might have success, that they have success here, that they might not have success other places. And I think that has just built on year after year after year. And I think it's a culture thing, obviously, but with our group, when you come in, you know that there's a really good chance you're going to get better. And I think that willingness to succeed helps us move forward.
Well, and you just said that at the end there, Chris, you know you're going to get better. Like, if I kind of like start warming up a little bit, you think you can add 5-10 on anyone's arm right now? Like, just off the what I don't want you to give away some of your secrets, but I mean, how much are you relying on other guys on your staff or other guys you've coached in the past? Like, it's truly incredible with some of the work you've been able to do here, Chris, with a lot of arms coming in into the organization over the years.
Well, I mean, we have to believe in our stuff, and I think that's a big part of it. Is once you get in our system, we can use our stuff to assess you, and it also is our North Star to drive you to, maybe it's a different pitch mix, maybe it's we've got to create a little bit better spin efficiency, maybe your delivery's off a little bit. I mean, again, there's no magic sauce, and I think it's the being diligent on like getting better every day. I think it's the coach speak everybody hears about, but when you're doing it the way we do it on a daily basis, I mean, I think about first 3 games of the season last year, and I'm like, what in the world is going on here? But it really is getting back to the basics on like, hey, we're going to get as many guys better on a daily basis, 1% better on a daily basis every day, and sticking to that. And then at the end of the season, you're like, oh, wow, a lot of guys got better. And I think it does take a lot of fortitude to do that, and it takes a group. And our group is really special at doing it.
You didn't say cutter one time during that.
Torpedo bats.
Torpedo bats too. Yeah. I mean, those two. Speak on both of them. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we made national news, right? We made national news at the end, and we made national news at the end, beginning and the end. So we had a nice national news sandwich last year. The Brewers, they were talking about us from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
So we want to continue to do that in a positive way, of course.
Okay, this may show you how long I've been doing this. I spoke with former Brewers pitching coach Mike Maddox many years ago, and he had a ball player named Victor Santos that always had these troubles in the first inning. It was almost Freddie-like, to where the pitch count is up and you're like, oh boy, the length is gone in the first inning and things like that. And he told me this way back then. He said, it's about the person. I can't go up to another pitcher and say the same things that I say to Vic Santos. I have to keep it tailor-made to that human being, and much, to the degree of philosophy that Murph has. This is about people, Chris.
Correct. No doubt about it. I think that's one thing that I think people don't realize. One recipe is going to work for every person on that staff, and it's totally different. I gotta meet and greet different folks, and it's coming from all levels, right? I mean, might have a guy from AA this year to have some success, and I got to know him in some form or fashion, as well as I know Freddie Peralta. So I mean, I like you said, it's an individual sport in a way. That I've got to be able to meet that pitcher where he's at. I got to get him to understand what it's going to take to have success at the major league level, and quick. I think that's the difference between us and maybe somebody else, another organization, is that the expectations of success are here, right? So when that minor league guy comes up, we're not just like, oh yeah, well, we'll getting beat up for 5-10 starts. That's not acceptable. So that guy's got to come up and have success right away. And I just left Arizona last week, and just setting the expectations. When you guys get here, you should be able to have all our fundamental principles down and have an understanding that how you're going to get those done. And when you get here, we're going to have success from start one, or at least anticipate that and try to do our best to have that guy be able to be locked in and ready.
Chris, I read a lot about this infamous pitching lab, and when I think of this in my mind, I always picture beakers and bubbling cauldrons, and that's what I think about. But to the Brewer fan, when they read some of the beat reports in the newspaper and online about this Brewers pitching lab, how would you describe that to the fans?
It's not a physical place, right? So everybody thinks that we're shipping these dudes out, and they go through a car wash, they come on the other end, and they're fixed. The assessment process starts in spring training. The assessment part is happening during the game. So we're getting information that assesses guys on where they need to be. Just like if you went and got an MRI and you've got a torn rotator cuff, you're assessing you've got a problem, but they got to get to us, and then once we get that assessment, we got to go to work. There are people, like I said, there's probably a team of 5 to 10 guys, strength conditioning, training. My group with our pitching group, we're all working on these guys. So we have to get an assessment, and then we got to go to work. You got to get surgery, and then you got to do rehab. So, every guy has to get assessed on where they're at. If it's delivery, if it's pitch mix, if it's pitch shapes. We're doing all of that, and then we go to work with our group to get that guy better. So the pitching lab is a group of people. It's it's just like I hear that all the time. It's very humorous, and it's complimentary to our group. When I think about it, I think it's funny, but it's a group of people that are assessing guys, and we're assessing at the ball at our park, at every major league park. We get assessment readings. I know every day what guys are doing as far as pitch mix goes and as their shapes, and then we're trying to fix that on a daily basis to make sure it's pointing in the right direction.
Tommy,
yeah.
I'm thinking that the Brewers should just tweet out a picture of the Munsters' grandpa down in his trap door laboratory down, and just say, "This is the Brewers pitching lab."
That's right.
And then Photoshop Chris's face on it. I got it. Yeah, I got you. Chris Hook, Brewers pitching coach, joining us here. I just got one more here for you. We were talking about it a little bit. I don't want to necessarily neglect the relievers, but the starting pitching rotation, the depth that you guys have, and how many guys, you have 2 great guys at the front end of the rotation. You have a whole bunch that are going to be competing for 3 more spots, or maybe it's 4 more spots any once in a while. Like, just speak a little bit about that depth in the starting rotation. Are you like foaming at the mouth to get to next season already?
Well, obviously, we're very excited about the young group that is coming through our system. With the what Mizorowski did last year. I mean, gosh, guys, we'd never envisioned that. If I had told you last February 14th when Miz came to camp that we were expecting that kind of output from him during the season, I could have never guessed that. But it was awesome. The Logan Hendersons of the world also. I mean, for him to come up and do well. Is he going to be a part of it? There's a really good chance. Chad Patrick, out of nowhere, man. He did such a nice job. Obviously, he spent the back part of the season in the bullpen and helping us out in that playoff atmosphere. He was tremendous. So yes, there's a nice group there. Obviously, Freddie leads this group. You got Brandon Woodruff coming back. I mean, those are the horses, right? But it's exciting. We know what those guys are going to give us and what they have given this organization over the years. But I'm most excited about that young group and really kind of sinking their teeth into a season and understanding what the season brings and be able to kind of continue to elevate their game.
Okay, final thing here, Chris, for the fans. A 12-year-old Chris Hook down south. He's riding his bike around, looking to play some ball with somebody, pack of baseball cards or two in his pocket. Who are some of your favorite teams and players back then?
Well, growing up in Reds country, we had a lot of, pitchers kind of come through, the Mario Sotos of the world, the Tom Seavers. I had the Dwight Goodens, the Nolan Ryan, the Oral Hershiser, those types of guys that were on my wall. So I had a little command, a little power. I didn't throw that hard as a professional player and a big leaguer, but I think there was a little combination of wanting to be the Nolan Ryan, but had to be more of the Oral Hershiser of the world to get to the big leagues and also throw a little bit of split fingers. So I have to add Jack Morris in there as well.
Okay.
But that's those are the guys that to me were up on my bedroom wall and who I was driven to be.
And what a name for a pitching coach too, Hook. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
that's like Kenneth Gainwell as a running back in the NFL. I mean, it's sort of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chris,
I wish I was better at curveballs than I was more of a slider guy than a curveball, but
keep it down. Keep that ball down. You're hanging it. All right. All right, Chris, well, great talking with you. We'll say hello when we see you in Arizona, okay?
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Look forward to it, guys. Take care.
All right, Chris Hook, pitching coach of the Milwaukee Brewers. He seems like he's into it.
Oh,
Tommy.
Yeah. You could feel the pitching lab through the phone. You could feel it.
So it's not really beakers and bottles and potions and elixirs laying around. It's about people.
Yeah.
It sounds like Murph.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I've seen it the last few years, man. He's got something working over there. I don't know if he's got a different exercise that guys are doing, the cutter that comes out of him. He brought up Chad Patrick, man. That guy,
Unsung.
he was a psychopath at the end of the year last year. Yep. And I can't wait to see who's going to fill out this rotation for this team. And I know Chris Hook is excited for the tough decision too.
Years ago, I asked Josh Hader when that lab got going. He didn't really do a lot of rev rate video stuff. And he didn't at that time. Now, I don't know if that has changed for Josh. But at that time, he wasn't really into all the metrics of pitching. That's weird. All right. We'll take a break here. Get you a couple of news and notes on the way out. It's another edition of Hot Stove Weekly here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Final couple of minutes of Hot Stove Weekly here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tim Allen, Tommy Wortz, and we'll be back next week, 5 to 7. I think we're going to talk some hitting from some of the players next week, I think.
All right.
With some of the players, not about, but with. So stick around. We'll keep you posted on that. Speaking of which, how can folks find the show here in its entirety, or even the interviews?
Yeah, great that you bring that up. We got the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Twitter page at WI Sports Radio, in which you can go find all of our great links and stories that are posted throughout the day. But if you're looking specifically for Hot Stove Weekly, Best Brewers coverage, wherever you get your favorite podcast, just type in Best Brewers coverage. It'll be the first thing that pops up. Also, the YouTube page, youtube.com/@WI Sports Radio, or just search WI Sports Radio. It pops up. There is Hot Stove Weekly up there, the full entire show, as well as each of our interviews that we just had with Chris Hook and with Eric Theisen will be up with their own separate videos if you just want to see some of the highlights as well, Timmy.
Staying up to speed on you and I with our own personal socials, it would be Brewer Post Gamers with Tim Allen on Facebook. Post Gamers with Tim Allen on Facebook. And then Tim Allen Rants on Twitter. And your?
At Tommy WSSP. So Tommy WSSP.
And so our next post-gamer party is a week from Friday. So next Friday night at Swagger's Sports Bar and Grill in Franklin, Wisconsin, we have a ton of prizes for you guys to win.
Mm-hmm. I've heard player jerseys. That's what I've heard. That's all I know.
And number 11's involved.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Just dropping the big bombs here.
Night stay at Potawatomi Hotel. There's some food and beverage, gift cards. There's American Family Field, gift cards to be had, 1 million T-shirts to be given out. That's going to be at Swagger's Sports Bar and Grill next Friday night. My band is going to be playing there. So get a designated driver, tip back a couple of beers, win some prizes, and have some fun. Speaking of which, this Brewer Bash thing, I don't know if we have too much time on this, but this was a survey that was conducted about a year ago with Brewer ticket holders. About 37,000 took the survey on what the demand would be on a little entertainment district out into the plaza behind center field near the bridge there.
Yeah, know exactly what you're talking about.
It makes sense to me. I've always wanted to do something. I thought they were when they actually built the stadium. I thought shortly after there would be, a couple of bars here and there, some outdoor venues to have some live music, restaurants, you name it. Maybe some collectible shops that would be seasonal, all of those things out there. For lack of another term, they were calling it Brewers Bash. And I'll do my best by next week to get an update as to where that all is. But including the winterization of American Family Field.
Sure.
To have those venues, at least the restaurants, the indoors, to serve food and everything before a concert in the months of November, December, January, and February.
I love it. As long as it doesn't impede on any tailgate scene, I'm okay with it.
Okay. I mean, now this could take what they're saying here is up to 5 to 15 years to get all the infrastructure taken care of. They still have to winterize the stadium as well. But I've always envisioned that around American Family Field. It would be fun. So, all right, well, that's going to do it for us here. Thanks to Eric Theisen, the Brewers hitting coach. Thanks to Chris Hook, the Brewers pitching coach, for spending some time with us talking Brewers baseball. And thanks to the media relations department at the Brewers, Mike Vasallo and Grumman and company for lining things up for us. We appreciate that. And we'll talk some more Brewers baseball next week. Keep your radios, your phones dialed right here to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network as season number 21 for post-game coverage. It's going to be the Tim and Tommy show, really. And that is going to be brought to you by and powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. So we look forward to that as we approach pitchers and catchers reporting. And by the next time we talk, will the Brewers still have Freddie Peralta on their roster? Yes or no, Tommy?
I don't like it, but have a good one.
All right. Take it easy.